My name is Brian Stover. I'm one of the aldermen here in Thompson Station, Tennessee. I just started my second term. I was first elected in 2016. Then I ran for re-election this past year and was voted in again by our residents of Thompson Station. One of the things that really interests me when I ran the first time was I really kind of grew up around here. You know, when my mom and I first moved here, we lived in Madison. Then we moved over to this side of town when I was about 19, 20 years old, and kind of been all around here ever since. And it's kind of amazing to see the Thompson Station now versus what it was 30 some years ago. There was nothing, you know, where my house sits was all cow fields. So it's kind of amazing to see the growth of where we're at right now. Well, when we moved here in 2015, my wife and I lived in Tollgate Village, and there was a certain cable company that everyone knew about. There were some issues. I went to a few meetings. A lot of people were saying, we've been talking about this for years, and I'm not a big talker. So got a group of people together. We might have got an attorney. We might have filed a lawsuit. So that all got taken care of. And someone came to me and said, you know, you don't seem to be the person that sits back and rests on your laurels. You should run for office. I'm like, sure. I didn't know anything about it. I never ran for any office in high school, college, knew nothing about it. But the more I got to looking into it, the more I was like, you know, I can put a stamp on what this town's going to be, what it's going to become. So I ran, won, and it was like drinking water through a fire hydrant. You know, what you think of how government should be ran is not how it's actually done. So, you know, I'm a get things done now, and that's just not how it works in government. So it's been a learning curve. Sure. Well, one thing I should probably say is, you know, this is not a full-time role. It seems that way some days, but it's not. My full-time career, I work for Cisco Foods of Nashville. I'm entering my 25th year with them. One big thing from what I've done over that, from the aspect of those times, is built a lot of relationships and, you know, a lot of networking over the time. But one of the things that we look at here in Thompson Station is a lot of, you know, we're looking for economic development, how we can increase our commercial base. And I really rely on my networking of who I know within the food industry. And it takes me outside of the food industry a lot of times. I've built a good network of a lot of good friends. I've never claimed to be the smartest guy in the world, but I surround myself with people who are a lot smarter. So I've got a pretty good network. But what I've learned over the past 25 years is how to deal with people, how to, you know, manage projects, and really just kind of engage and listen to get the end result that we're all looking for. That's kind of what's led me into, you know, being a representative of the Thompson Station BOMA. It's a team. It's not one individual. Everyone's got to work together. And that's, over my career, that's been the way we have been successful at Cisco, is having a successful team. Things don't move fast at all. I mean, it is, when they talk about bureaucracy and things going, you know, you have the best of intentions of doing something, but it takes a while. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to make sure that you have taken care of from a legal standpoint. We work on a lot of road projects, so there's a lot of engineering that goes in with that. There's a lot of easements that need to be taken care of. There's some land that needs to be required. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like, you know, hey, I'm going to sell my house and move someplace else. It doesn't work that way. You know, one big thing that I've had to learn is something someone warned me about when I first took this office. You're not going to please everybody, and there's no sense in even trying. You know, you have to, at the end of the day, make the best decision for the town. You have to kind of take all personal interests out of it. You sit on a board that makes a decision for a town those decisions are going to last for a very long time. And you take as much input from residents as you can. Unfortunately, some of them don't aren't as involved with the town. They don't understand all the work that's been done behind the scenes. So you take that information into perspective. You try and make everyone's uh, thoughts. You take all their thoughts and you kind of roll them into a collective consensus. But then you have to make a decision that's what's best for the town, for everyone that lives here. For me, I've always been kind of, the term servant leader is kind of, thrown around a little bit sometimes, but that's just been me my whole life. I grew up an only child, but I had 13 cousins that were like brothers and sisters. And, there were some days we didn't know where the next meal was coming from. So we all kind of collected together and worked to make sure we were all taken care of. And, my wife jokes, no one's ever gonna go hungry around me because make sure everyone's fed. To me, that's the biggest thing. It's just being a community leader. That's it. I don't do this for, the power or anything else. I have no other political aspirations of doing anything. It's just serving my community. My dad was a civil servant for 25 years as a retired police officer, and just watched him do it. I mean, serve the community. That's all he ever did. And even to this day, my baby brother's a police officer back in West Virginia. So it's kind of been ingrained in us of what we do. Go attend some meetings. Just go. You can watch them online all you want to, but go in person. Understand what's going on. Find one of the individuals wherever you're at that you think you might be interested in, and see if they'll sit down and talk with you. Really understand what local government is. Really start looking at some of that stuff in school. Understanding, government, the structure of how it works. A lot of people, spend a lot of time on national politics and what's going on. But for residents, local government is actually, hate to say this, your biggest bang for your buck. That's kind of where everything happens. So I would encourage everyone to just go out and, go to your local town hall, have a conversation, set up a time with your town administrator, and get a better understanding of what your town is, what they do, what the alderman or city council, wherever you live at, what they actually do, and what issues are pressing them. Really dig into it and really understand. Don't rely so much on what's put in the media, but talk to the person. Go directly to the source and find out what needs to be done, how we're going to do it. How can I help? How can I get engaged with the community? And that's the biggest thing for me, is truly understanding what local government does.